Hey, now it's the Bergie and Booker show. He's Bergie. I'm Booker. He's You're killing me with the live golf, the Masters. Yeah, you know what you know. I like what you do. Yeah, it's a free country. It's a free planet that we live in. So life is good. And the Masters just happened. Quick question for you before we get into the darts and the slinging of arrows. If you were teaching someone how to play golf, would you show them John Rahm's swing and say, replicate this? Or would you show them Rory McIlroy's swing and say, replicate this?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't see Rory swing this weekend. So I don't remember what his swing looks like from memory right off the top. I'm getting old. I only remember things, so I would say Rahm's because I watched him all weekend. I don't know if did Rory compete in the Masters?
He did. He did. And he's got a beautiful swing. And I've seen you golf, and your swing's way closer to John Rahm's. I will also tell you, is there any way that the Masters can say to Patrick Reed, we're thrilled that you had one good tournament. Don't ever come back. He and Patrick Cantlay are two people that I think Augusta National wishes they never met.
So I'm assuming you mean Reed because he continued to wear his Aces stuff, right?
Yes, I thought that was just obnoxious.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay.
I don't disagree with you there. I think, obviously he's going to come back because he finished tied for third. So, yeah. And had he made a putt on 15 or 16 or whatever when he was on a streak, he would have gotten to 8 real quick with a couple holes left. And who knows why, it could have been Phil, it could have been Koepka, and it could have been Reed all there. And, had Phil dropped that eagle in, it would have gone, he would have been 10, he would have hit 10 at that one point or something like that.
A little pressure on Rahm.
9. Yeah. Same thing with Koepka. Like I listen, first thing I'm going to say is obviously the LIV Tour did very well. And I'll break that down in a second, but I like Jon Rahm. Number one,
yep.
I've been a fan since last year on Sunday when they pulled him out of a tournament because he failed a COVID test. He was way ahead.
Oh, yeah.
And he would have won, and he goes back the next week and wins a major, or 2 weeks later, or whatever it was. So I'm a fan of his. Congratulations to him. He played great. It was one of those deals. When you play more than 18 holes and you're playing well, it's a benefit. You don't have everything on that day, and you got more than 18 holes. Would Brooks have had a bigger lead had they done a traditional 18, 18, 18?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
And then took some chances, didn't have everything, hit a couple of errant tee shots. But
starting with the first one.
Yeah. Here's the thing that gets me about the LIV guys. All over Twitter and everything. Well, he's falling apart because his tournament is only 54 holes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Shut up. Then why did Phil Mickelson play great in the back 9? And why did Reed play great in the back 9? They're in the same tournament. So that has nothing to do with it. LIV guys, there was about 84 guys in the Masters. LIV had 18 guys. All right. LIV had 7 guys make the cut. All right. And 3 finish in the top 5. Proportionately speaking, they have proven they are good golfers and they belong. So stop with that nonsense about everything else, because 84 minus 18 is a much bigger number. And so percentage-wise, they were probably even better than the regular field of non-LIV golfers. Obviously, they were in the top 5. And obviously, 8 of the guys made the cut. So, and here's what I think. okay, if you say the LIV guys aren't any good at golf, then how do you explain Rory not making the cut? I mean, it's just golf. Some guys don't have it on certain weekends.
Yes,
And,
agreed.
and again, the LIV crowd, that they're all over Rory because he was all over, F Phil this, F Phil that. Well, Phil was playing. Everybody in the world was watching Phil yesterday, and Rory was nowhere to be found.
And I did see that show, the PGA Tour, I forget what it's called, Final Cut or something, and where Rory did clearly say,
yeah,
which is,
and they ran it as advertisement for the show.
Yes, they did.
So, and again, I like Rory. I'm just saying that the nonsense of the LIV Tour, the 54 holes, don't give me that crap. Don't give me
no
that.
way. I don't think. And the other thing is, we know that the LIV golfers are good golfers because the Masters is its own echelon.
Right.
So if the LIV golfers weren't worth having, I'm sure Augusta would have been like, you know what, we don't need them. No. But in order to validate this tournament and make sure it was the best people, the best invited golfers playing against the best other invited and qualified golfers, they had to have them, and they did. And now all the LIV golfers who got invited came. So
yeah, and here's the other thing. The PGA protected itself. The PGA had the best they could get out of this because LIV didn't win. So now it's PGA 1, LIV 0. LIV did get 3 in the top 5. Okay. But imagine had they not invited the LIV guys and Rahm wins.
Mm-hmm.
All LIV is going to say is we weren't there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right.
Bubba is going to say I wasn't there. All these guys, Johnson, who played like crap, all those guys are going to say we weren't there. So this is the absolute best outcome for golf. Okay. Because now you got the black hats, man. You got the black hat guys. All right. You got the evil empire. Okay. Yeah. And you went into what is the most prestigious tournament, right? I mean, we can all agree that.
Can we hold on one second? I have to interrupt you. Patrick Cantlay is addressing the ball.
So.
Whoa. He's still addressing it. We're going to ask for some. Somebody posted a video on Twitter, and it's a 1-minute long video. He already has his club picked out, and he is standing behind his shot. And there's a obviously it's timed. You can at any time, you look this, look this, look this, look. 47 seconds from standing behind the ball to putting it in the air.
So 2 things about the group ahead of the final group. Number 1, they were never in it. My wife, okay, who is a casual, minuscule golf watcher, but she will watch the majors, especially on a kind of a nice, rainy, relaxing Easter Sunday. Asked me twice what the rules were about how long you have to hit the ball and how long you have to stand over a putt and how long you have to. So this is complete casual watcher watching the Masters. Her parents used to watch the Masters. It's the one event she's always watched. I think a lot of people are like that.
Yep.
Asking me the rules of how long somebody could take. Okay.
That tells you something.
Tells you something. Secondly, can you imagine me playing behind those guys 30 beers in on a Saturday? Oh. How many times I would have bombed them. Hit the goddamn ball. I mean, they weren't in. I saw somebody ask a question last night to Scott Van Pelt, and they said, at what point do you not say, can we play through? I mean, he laughed and he said, it's the Masters, so it's not going to happen. But I mean, at one point, I mean, that's another thing. If I'm Brooks, I'm saying, listen, I'm not used to hitting the ball once every 37 minutes or whatever the hell it was on some of those. He said Ron went to the bathroom 7 times one time or something.
I saw that. So I also saw someone's response to that was Brooks's humble brag that he's got an elite bladder.
Yes. Well, again, you don't have to like any of these guys on either tour. You got to respect their games. And I mean, Phil,
oh my God, yeah.
Some of the flop shots he was throwing, it looked like Phil 15 years ago. Like I was waiting for him to do the facing the wrong way shot and all that fun stuff that he always does. He was impressive. I think the Masters won because I didn't look this morning, but I'll look this afternoon when I get all that TV radio stuff. They had to do well yesterday. You know, the LIV.
Let me tell you. So actually, you just said that your wife Jackie had some issues with the slow play.
Right.
My wife Tanya, she actually loves Patrick Cantlay. And I love him too, because I know you've heard me say this before. If I turn on golf and we're sitting there on the couch watching it, turn it on, she will be asleep before the next ball that's hit lands on the ground. So I put Cantlay on. I know she's out before he even really finishes on his third waggle. So she loves him. She's like, I'm not missing anything.
You get to watch golf in peace and quiet, but still getting the credit for spending time with your wife on a Sunday afternoon.
But even Booker won yesterday.
Kids call that a cheat code. You found the cheat code to spend time with your wife and still enjoying sports.
A little cheat code. Now, she loves watching other sports, but golf just puts her to sleep, like sleep. Sleeping Beauty. So to recap, before we get to what pisses us off, because I think we already covered that with Patrick Cantlay. What pissed me off was Patrick Reed wearing the Aces stuff. I go with the hat or the shirt. I don't need both. I thought that was a little obnoxious, especially for someone who should appreciate the tradition unlike any other. I mean, that's not the time or the place to break out your Aces stuff. That's my thing. Let's jump to congratulate UConn on the men's basketball. And you can rewind any of this because I can tell you're a little pissed off about something.
No.
And the other thing is Glovegate, Maryland Lacrosse. I got some inside stuff. So
well, here's my input on Glovegate. Tillman is freaking Belichick. He sat on that all game, knew we could call it at any time, and he got into Ohio State's head. Their coach completely lost it, completely went bonkers. Team went bonkers. He waited till it was 11-11 with very little time left, and the Terps got a W. I am going to say he knows the rules. He knows the rules. It is the rule. I watched games specifically the next day on Saturday to see how many teams play with different colored gloves, and several do. So
they do.
Several were playing with different colored gloves. I saw a game where the goalie had one color and the players had a different. The Penn State game, they had different colored gloves. Some guys had navy blue. So I don't know when you call it and when you don't call it. And, if you're a Maryland fan, you're saying good for our coach. He knows the rules and he used the rules to his advantage. If you're anybody else in America, you say, what an asshole or what a crybaby, and you poo-poo it. But are were you 35-1 the last 2 years? And do you have people lining up to join your program and turning them away? The answer is no.
Great coach, great person. I've done camps with Tills, known him for a long time. And the way he explained it was perfect. He's like, I didn't even call for a check. I just asked the referees. And he even went on to say, like, there's times during games I'll ask a referee, was that a push? Was that a slash?
I heard
so
it. I heard me said I watched a girls game where North Carolina, they stopped the game and made everybody take off the metal spikes. It was pouring rain, metal spikes are illegal. There are uniforms.
The other team had him in that game too, so it wasn't just. But it was a soaking wet grass field. You should have whatever spikes you want.
My thing is that if there is a uniform rule, for Tillman to know, he didn't find that out. The only thing that's disingenuous is him saying, I don't know who mentioned it. Somebody mentioned it. But baloney, they knew that in film going in. They were watching film because it was the face-off guy, right?
Right.
So they're doing that. And then what was even funnier is Ohio State then does a chick stack on Weirman, and he's fine. And he gets it.
Of course. Yeah.
Well, he did it. And they brought up that Tillman did a stick check on Princeton this year, I believe, after the face-off guy ran down and scored a goal.
Yep.
And they took it back. The goal went back, and it's a 3-minute non-releasable. So It's not like he doesn't know the rules. It's not like he's not going to use them to his advantage. What my biggest takeaway, if I'm a Maryland fan, which I am, is the youth and how they're playing in these big games. They're going to take their lumps. But you got Whittier, who's essentially a freshman, all right, scoring goals and making assists. All right. You've got Urksa, who's a freshman, all right, making plays. And then you've got Spanos, who's a freshman. He's making plays. All right. And then and I mean, those are three.
Let's hold on. Let's talk about the great Rough Rider goaltender.
Yeah, I know. And he's a freshman.
Rube.
And you know, you got young guys at Poles. We know we've talked about Bubba's kid. He's only a sophomore. And you've got a lot of youth there on the offensive side, you know, starting to come together and put up points. Everybody at Maryland just, you know, the Maryland fans just expect for them to win. Oh, Maryland sucks because they lost this game and lost that game. I don't know if anybody's paying attention. The Big Ten's getting pretty freaking good at
Evidently.
men's lacrosse. I mean, Penn State looked good. That Penn State John Hopkins game started off like, I was thinking to myself, here we go again. Penn State's, you know, not for real, but they came back and they won. And, you know, I think Penn State's more for real, and John Hopkins is falling back more. We talked about that.
I love, you're a Maryland guy. I love how you call him John Hopkins.
Yeah, John Hopkins.
And you kept waiting for me to call. It's been like 3 weeks now. I haven't called you on it, but you know good and well it's Johns Hopkins. So it's all well and good. Yeah, I know you're a Maryland guy. Yeah, Big Ten Bergie.
Yeah,
And
well, yeah, Johns. Well, either way, I couldn't get into school, so it doesn't matter.
they got plenty of you in there.
Yeah,
you just got to be better at lacrosse.
Yeah, exactly. But no. So your insight on Glovegate? Glovegate. What do you think?
I think that you explained it pretty well. He was sitting on it, but he tactfully said to the officials, he didn't say like, "Hey, they got a kid with not matching gloves. I want the ball." He just said, "I just want to ask, is there a rule about them all having uniform, same color, same kind of gloves?" And the refs came together and they're like, "Yes, that is a rule. Yes, that kid doesn't have them. Yes, it's Maryland's ball." So he thought it through. And that's John Tillman as a great coach. And lacrosse is blessed with so many amazing people that are involved. And he just simply asked them. And the referee came back and said, yes, your ball.
So here's my other question. They had the last shot, right? They had the ball last. They had an opportunity to win the game in regulation. And they had the opportunity to win the game in overtime. It was tied 11-11. He pulled it out. I think we can all agree that John Tillman, you know, after years of watching him on the sidelines, staring at his tablet, doesn't make a whole lot of rash, quick decisions. I think he's a thinker. He's a planner. My question is this. If they were winning the game substantially or, you know, 2 or 3 goals, does he wait to pull that out into the Big Ten tournament? Like how long has he been sitting on this?
Oh, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, the funny thing, there's 2 little funny things. One, every coach now is going to make sure everybody's got the same color gloves. That is obvious. The other thing was they showed a picture of one of the Kavanaugh kids from Notre Dame, like scratching his head, and he clearly had a hole in his glove, which is also illegal. So I'm guessing that Kev Culligan will have them all tightened up by the next time they take the field.
So so I turn to Duke and I say, what do you do? Like, because he has some crappy gloves right now, but we're literally 16 games into the season, about to start playoffs. He's not going to get new gloves.
Change gloves.
Not going to change gloves. I'm assuming it's baseball, it's lacrosse, it's all guys are like, listen, I'm not breaking in a new pair of gloves right now, but I mean, do college guys have multiple gloves? Or I mean,
yes.
But the other, I mean, lucky gloves. I mean, listen, if I were him, I wouldn't, either of those 2 brothers, I wouldn't change a damn thing about my game. I mean, they, you know, if you believe the hole in the glove is why you're throwing those kind of points, and that, I mean, at one point, they had like a behind the back pass and then a behind the back shot back to back.
Yes, right at the end of the quarter too. So it was, or right at the end of the shot clock. Sorry, shot clock was going bad. So
I think you put Notre Dame, Maryland, Duke, and I hate to say it, the UVA. I hate to say it, but I think you put those 4 together, and I think you could play every weekend a round robin for the next 6 weeks, and I think you'd have different outcomes at least 4 of the 6 weeks. That's how close they all are.
Yeah.
That's how, and I mean, they all have different strengths other than the fact that Duke can't beat Notre Dame in regular season, but Notre Dame can't beat Duke in the playoffs. And, Maryland.
UVA can't beat Duke in the regular season.
Yeah. And
evidently Maryland can't beat Michigan in the regular season. So, yeah, it's all good.
Oh my Lord! That's another reason. All the people that hate on him were hating on Tillman because they had lost to Michigan, and they thought they were going to lose to Ohio State. So that's why he complained about.
So
that.
The other thing I got to tell you is, you go on these online things where you can make anonymous posts as Laxer 093 or whatever you want to be, and then all of a sudden you got all this courage because you're not Booker Corrigan or you're not Joe Bergstrom. You're just Laxer 093. I actually did play-by-play for the Michigan Marquette game. And Marquette played a very good game. Marquette's defense was in the zone. Like, they were making saves, controlling where shots were coming from. Marquette played a great game. So I went on to the thing to see what the Michigan fans thought or what the Marquette fans thought. The Michigan fans, the gutless, anonymous Michigan fans, wanted Conry fired by Wednesday. Just saying. And you can scroll back through this and see it. They thought, oh, what's this? He just signed an extension. Why would they even do that? Blah, blah. They were literally popping off. Now, all of a sudden, they can beat Maryland. They can do this. They're competing. He's the best. I mean, it's interesting to see how much courage people have when they're anonymous in their parents' basement, and they haven't showered in 3 days and they have a computer with online access.
When you match liquid courage with the
anonymity
of the internet matched with just loser, what do they say? Depression outward comes out anger, right? When you got little angry old people or young people, depending on what they are, who aren't happy with their lives, just complaining about everything. People are unrealistic. You're Michigan. I mean, if you think you're going to build a lacrosse program in under 5 years or under 6 years, you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. But they keep recruiting kids that maybe Maryland is they got 4 slots. They're 5, 6, and 7. Those kids are pretty damn good lacrosse players too.
Yeah.
So you get those guys. That's what Ohio State needs to do. You mix in some Canadian kids. You get some other stuff. Marquette, I don't know what Marquette's roster looks like, but I'm going to tell you what. I'll bet you Marquette's roster is full of public school kids that can play lacrosse. You know what I mean?
Tough kids who know how to play. And also, let's not forget, when Maryland won the national championship in 2017, they beat Ohio State in the championship game.
And played them in the Big Ten championship game too.
Yeah, they're a legit program and have been for a while. And it bothers Michigan people that they haven't been to the championship or whatever it is. But the greasiness of going on some chat room and anonymously.
I'd like to know.
By the way, I'm on that chat room, and you know what my anonymous name is? You want to guess?
Booker Corrigan.
Yes. I go in as Booker.
Yeah.
Because that's my pronouns are Booker, Bookman, Booktonius. And I identify as a Booker.
You identify as a Booker. Okay. Yeah. That's very good. So are you done with Bud Light now? Or are you ever going to drink Bud Light?
I can't figure that out. I saw a dude clearing out his refrigerator of Bud Lights and putting in Coors Lights. You're going to have to tell me what that means, because evidently it's a Democratic Republican thing, or I don't know. So
Bud Light hired a transgender person to be on a Bud Light beer can as a spokesperson for Bud Light.
Right.
To which that has pissed off all the country singers, Kid Rock, all the country, like literally, I forget the name of it, but the one guy dropped his tour bus off at a local Budweiser store and left the keys and said, "I'm done." Guys are canceling it from their concerts. Kid Rock shot his AK-47 or whatever in machine gun and blew up a thing of Budweiser beer. I would, if I felt that strongly, I still would have drank the beer. I paid for the beer. It's stupid. They've doubled down on it and said, we don't want the frat boy image. We want, that we're inclusive. it's bringing politics into something that didn't need to be brought. But Budweiser doesn't need help with sales. Why do it? I don't get it. I don't, all you're doing is now whatever portion of the country that you had, it got smaller. I don't think a bunch of trans she's are running out and buying Bud Light right now. They're still holding their freaking sea breezes. I mean, I don't get it. Like, I don't get what the plus was. I don't get what the plus was. This whole thing has become, and there's Riley Giles. We've talked about it. This whole thing has become ridiculous with the transgenders. We're literally bending over for a portion of the country that's like this. And I'll bet you a majority of them don't really want to advertise that they used to be guys. I don't get it. But
there's also in a UFC fight on the women's division, I think there was a transgender man who is now identifies as a woman who fought a woman and I think did very well in the fight. So I think it's interesting that it's going all over the world. And as long as they don't get in my face about it and shoot at people because of it, more power, just be happy. And I guess Bud Light drinkers don't like Bud Light anymore because of an advertisement.
Yeah,
it didn't hurt anybody.
It doesn't matter to me. That's one of those things that I don't really care about. There's a lot of things to get pissed off at on a daily basis. That's not one of them for me. Yeah. If I'm going to go to a bar and order a Bud Light today or tomorrow, I'm still going to do it. If I want to order a Miller Lite, I'm going to still do it. Whatever. I switch it around a little bit. I'm going to get but I don't mind drinking a White Claw either. So what do I care?
I love a good White Claw.
Yeah.
And by the way, I couldn't take any player out of the conditions on Saturday before they stopped them. And they were showing that amateur Sam Bennett playing great and all that. It was pouring down rain. Would you have played Augusta if it was August 15th and you got invited to play and it was raining like that?
No, I told you, I told you a long time ago. I live in Florida. I will not tee off in the rain. I will not tee off in the rain.
Well, what if it's the only time you're getting? They don't postpone your round till.
Anybody who got me on Augusta is going to get me on again. I'm not getting on Augusta by myself.
Well, yeah, but what if the guy says, by the way, Bergie, you're not getting any younger?
Yeah, well, he's right. But I mean, what's the alternative?
When you get that invite, it's going to be a one-shot deal. Like it's August 3rd.
I saw this online. Question for you. Masters tickets for the rest of your life or one round to play at Augusta. What do you choose?
I'm definitely playing the round, and I'm definitely on the 18th hole. I'm declaring that the match is all tied, and the only way to settle is to play 18 more. But yes, I would definitely rather play one round than have Masters tickets the rest of my life. And I'm such an old fuddy-duddy. I had this thought. I cognizantly thought to myself, looking at that crowd, what a pain in the neck. I am literally turning into an old man right in front of you. The crowd yesterday, the sun was out. They showed tiers and tiers of people all stacked up all over the hills. And all I could think about is like, what a pain in the neck it's got to be to get out of there. I couldn't do it. I'd much rather play once and beg for, the E9. I don't mind a good E9.
I can have a shitty day of golf any day of the week, wherever I'm playing. So I kind of lean towards the Masters tickets for life, but I do think you get bored after a couple times.
Exactly.
Because of the crowds. But then I saw somebody else brought up something. How about a beer a hole on the Masters, on Augusta, a beer a hole, play a round of golf, and then just the story that goes with that. Did you ever play Augusta? Yeah. I had 18 beers, shot an 85, had the day of my life. Yeah, I had 18 beers, shot 110, but you're never getting on.
Yeah. Wait, I would do a seltzer a hole. That would be really hard. You'd have to pace yourself. You'd have to have a lot of, my mom taught me, if you're going to drink a lot, have food in your stomach.
Yeah. You'd have to get some food.
And are you allowed to expectorate at any point during this round, or does it have to be 18 held down? Because I think, after 9,
You
I'd
can't
be
throw
like,
up. You can pee, but you can't throw up.
as the young kids say, pull trig.
No, yeah.
I'll let you diagnose what that means.
All right.
Brother. He's Bergie. I'm Booker. We do what we do. We do it pretty well. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.